Hello, welcome back. So in this video we are going to see how to create the decals. So now I have created the basic level by using the assets which is been downloaded from the mega scans here. So as in the previous videos I have explained how to download the 3D assets from the mega scan like by using the Quixel bridge and how to place into the level. So by using some of the 3D assets I have created this basic level here. So now I will show how to create the decals. So here I have used some of the 3D assets from the mega scans. So for example, if I press F10 now, so if I go to the content browser, you can see in the mega scans, I have downloaded some of the 3D assets and have downloaded some of the plans surfaces. So here I have created the texture painting on the ground. So as in the previous video, I have explained how to create the blend materials by using different combination of materials combining into single material. So by using the technique, I have created the texture paint on this ground. So see, I have created some of the water and I have painted some of the different materials on this ground here. So now we will use the decals. So what are decals? It is nothing but it's just an image which we can place that image onto the 3D models here. Means like we can project the different kind of decals onto the 3D model. So for example, if you want to create any graffiti kind of texture on these stones, or suppose if you want to create any blood stains or any footprints, any other kind of textures onto the 3D models, we can use the decals. So first of all, I will show how to download the decals. So in order to download the decals, we need to right click and just we have to go to add pixel contents. So we can find out the decals in this home button here. You can see there are options like decals. So you can click on this. So there are different kind of categories in these decals here. So there is like blade, fabric. So for example, suppose if I go down here, you can see there is an graffiti textures here. For example, if I want to place this texture onto the stone here. So I will show you how to download and how to use this decal. So for example, I will click on this and click on this download here, and laterally you have to click on this add. Now see here it has been added. So now we will see how to use this decal. So for example, now in order to use this, first we need to drag onto the scene here. So now see it has been defaultly projected onto the ground here. So let's say if you want to scale, you can scale it. So you can scale and see now suppose if I bring this decal onto these stones here, now it has been changed the shape here. So that means that the shape of the decal has been changed according to the model on which you have placed here. So this is pretty cool. Now you can create realistic decals onto the walls like ground. So suppose if I want to project on this stone here, now you can bring onto this stone. See now it is projecting onto the stone here. And this decal is stretching out because due to the UV textures of this model here. So according to that you have to adjust. You can scale and you can project that. So see entirely this box has to be overlap onto the stone here so that you will get the perfect things. Okay. So see, suppose if you want to create any blood stains, so for example, if I download the blood stains here, so right click, you can go to add pixel content, and here you can see there is an like blood. So for example, if you click on this, and I have already downloaded, just I will click on this add here. So now it has been added. So let's say now I will drag this onto this stone here. See now it has been projected onto the stone, and now we can scale here. Okay, so we can scale. Okay, now in this way we can place this. For example, suppose if you want to change the color of this texture here, so for every decal you will have an textures. So if you double click on this, here you can see there are some options. You can increase and decrease the brightness. So according to the environment, if you want to change the color of this blood here, you can use these options here. So suppose if I decrease the brightness, see now it has been decreased. See, if I increase, you can increase the brightness. So according to the environment, you can change the lighting on that decal here. Okay, so we can use this brightness and we can use this saturation if you want to look it more darker. So according to that you can change. So let's say I will show another example. Suppose if you apply another decal here, let's say for example if I apply decal here, so right click, add pixel content. Let's say if I click on this and download and click on add, now it has been added. So here you can see this is a, now if I add here, and if you want you can like scale. So I want this blade decal should be projected only onto the ground, but I don't want to project onto the stone here. So what the thing is, we can disable the decals on selected models too. So for example, if I don't want this decal should be fall onto this stone here, what we have to do is we have to select this stone, and here you can see in the details panel you can search for the decals and see here, if you uncheck this receive decals, now see the decals has been gone. That means what the thing is, we can select the object and we can disable this option, so that if you don't want to project any decals onto that, we can use this option. So there is another use of decals here. Suppose if you use the texture paint onto the ground, and in some areas there will be some repetitive texture. So in order to avoid that repetitive texture, we can use the decals over that place so that it will look like different pattern. So in order to avoid the repetitive pattern, we can use. So for example, if you come here, let's say if the texture is looking like repetitive, and if you want to create some sort of decals, you can download the matching decals. So for example, if I go to add pixel content, we can use this one, see. So for example, if you want this one, like you can download. So we can drag on to here and we can scale. Okay, so now it is not looking like an repetitive pattern here. So in order to avoid the repetitive texture, we can use this kind of decals, and if you want to adjust according to the ground colors, we can use these textures, double click, and you can use these options to change the saturation or to increase the saturation or something. So for example, if I decrease the saturation, and if you use the brightness or something, so according to this we can adjust this. See, now it has been neatly blended into the ground here. So in this way we can adjust the color of the decals so that it will blend onto the ground. So by using the decals we can create the beautiful levels. So in terms of like texturing, if you want to create the good texturing for these models, you can use some of the decals and make it look like more natural. So that's it for the decals. See you in the next video.